Hey guys, Takeru25
and Untitled
with episode 80 of Ranger Review. Today we have the Power Rangers and Sentai SH Figuarts Shinken Red, Takeru and Kaoru Shiba. Now we got both of the Reds and Shinkenders.
Unfortunately, it took a lot longer to release Shiba Kaoru Shiba's Figuart than versus Takeru Shiba.
Takeru Shiba was actually released earlier. Kaoru didn't come until near the end of almost Go Sager / Go Kaija almost. That's where we finally got her. But sad part is, she was actually an exclusive and he wasn't. So now we have the first Sentai Figuarts, Takeru Shiba from Shinken. It's really nicely detailed and he has his Lion Zord. It looks, and funny thing is that there's two versions of it.
One is when it's in its emblem mode and one that's in its sword mode.
Now the funny thing is that the legs actually move, the front legs, so that's
so you can pose him like on his shoulders or make him hold it or do some other
just like in the show, he's there. And he also includes the shoulder phone. Now the shoulder phone is really nicely detailed and he can hold it. Now it's really nicely detailed and it really makes it look like he's gonna do one of the symbols.
Unfortunately though, it only comes within its brush mode and there's no secondary version that comes with its phone mode, and you can't take off the one that's on the belt. It's perfect.
The holster is right here, but you see that it's inside it.
Yeah, so technically you see two on him.
Now other accessories that you have is that like all Figuarts, they have all these different hands.
There's like 7 or 8 different hands. You can hold them, fist, or
pose them or anything, and in the box on the back actually shows the posability that you can do with it. Now the sad part is that most of these posabilities you really need the Tamashi stage stands in order to make it look like they are, because the Rekata Santo, this is actually one of the coolest weapons. Sadly, Bandai Japan did not make it transform to the gun mode where you can put the hidden disc in and it will do it. But there's a hidden disc in here in which you can spin it.
Yeah, it does have its correct line sticker.
Which is really nice to detail for a figure, and then it actually shows the fire symbol on the top.
You can make this figure hold it in one hand or two hands. However, the sword is so heavy that it can't stand on its own. It will constantly fall. The only realistic way you can do it is basically put it on his shoulder and make sure it doesn't tip over from any vibration. But other than that, it really cannot hold it any other way.
Figuarts, they have the ball joint arm. That makes it really loose for things like this to behold. So his final little thing is the Shinken. Now what's funny is that they actually included the hidden disc that was actually in it.
You can remove them.
So you can actually put it into it and have them pose with it. So you can pose them really nicely with the Shinken, or
you can pretty much like match what they do in the shows. For example, when they're doing the roll call,
you can actually have him just like do Chiaki's pose.
Yeah, you can actually have him hold it both ways. You can do a similar pose.
Now, if you have any of the other Shinkenders, you can actually use both the Shinken and have a double attack too, or a single attack.
Unfortunately though, the piece that connects the Shinken sword to his belt can easily pop off. It's very annoying, especially on Kaoru's figure because she has wider hips than Takeru, so it constantly falls off real easily.
Now also another thing is that you can actually move the hips.
Pretty much every kind of joint on a person is pretty much there. You can bend his head, his neck bend.
You actually can bend his legs really nicely too.
Even the feet points, they can curve up, so you could do like him kneeling or doing other different kinds of poses.
The details are really nice on Figuarts, even for Sentai, for the first Sentai Figuarts. Really, really nice. And since they're all ball joints, the head does move also, so you can see him looking down, looking up, whatever you feel complicated and whatever you feel natural for him.
Pretty much every detail on the figure has been painted in, especially on the helmet, because they even have the vents on the side of his helmet. They're painted in. Real good detail that's on the visor, and also the other details that are on the boots and the gloves.
Alright, so now we have Kaoru Shiba, the real Shinken Red. Now she has almost the same posability, but instead she is actually shorter than the.
They're to scale. That's their correct height.
Yeah.
She's supposed to be around 14, 15 years old back in the show.
So you can tell by looking at it, she's shorter and he's taller.
You can basically pose her the exact same way as Takeru. You can move her hand. You can put her up. You can actually, of course, you can use Takeru's sword in order to do the double Shinken Maru if you want to do. They all can use the same weapons. However, the problem comes with that in her set, she didn't come with the lion figurine at all, so she has no matching hands to hold it or do anything with it.
No matter what happens, you can actually use any of the other Shinkenmarus, or even the weapon. Now she also can hold it, but the only bad part is that, like Takeru, they lack the joints on the arms, so she will fall off more easier than he will.
Now, Kaoru actually comes with two different sets of skirts. One is the one that looks like on the show, which is full and everything. But the problem is it causes a lack of leg movement, so you have to use the secondary one that comes in 3 different pieces that you simply connect on the sides, front, and back. That you can pose her legs much more easier, so that could.
Other than that, she is really good if you like Shinkenger. Only bad part is that she was an exclusive, so
she costs much more than what you would buy normally.
Both of them are really nicely detailed. The funny thing is that now, thanks to Bluefin, this Shinken Red Figuarts is actually available at Toys R Us.
Yes, this is actually the American release of Shinken Red now. If you're wondering if there's any alteration, there is none. The only thing they did was add a sticker to the box and change the instruction booklet to match what PR Samurai does.
And the funny thing is that at Toys R Us, the label for this is Shinken Power Rangers Shinkenger 6-inch figure. That's really funny because even online, it's like, Shinkenger, what is this, you know?
Yeah, for fans who don't know Super Sentai, they'll get confused, especially if you see the Gold Ranger American list, because he's going to have Daigoyo and no one knows who that is.
The Talking Lantern, which we haven't seen yet.
If we see it all in the show, so people will get confused on that. And then, of course, we're seeing the Shoto phone, which we don't know that has a brush in Samurai.
Yeah,
so
the Shoto phone has a brush, and then when people look at Samurai, they're like, it's a phone, but it doesn't have a brush. The difference, same exact box art. The box art actually says Shinkenger on, and it says Takeru Shiba.
And nothing's translated on the front.
The only difference is that Bandai added the logo on the bottom right here. There's a logo that says Bandai, and it says Saban brands and whatnot on it. But other than that, the box is exactly the same as the Japanese one. It kept everything. But other than that, these are really, really good Figuarts. I recommend it to anyone. And for those of you who now says imports who couldn't import Shinken Red, now is a good time to get your Shinken Red before the Samurai ends, and hopefully we see more of these coming out in the States. Alright, so that's it for the Figuarts. Join us next week for the Nippon Center Hurricaneger, the collector's edition, Black Senpujin. Rate, comment, subscribe. We'll see you next week.
Also, since if you own both Shinken Reds, it gives you the excuse to actually do the double rake on Daishanto that was done near the series' end.
Near the end of the series, you can do it with the double, but since that both the arms are ball joints, they're really hard to actually make it.
First female for Super Sentai, which will probably end up being the second female for us, because we had the first female Red Ranger back in s.p.d.
Now, the only difference between is that now the girls, actually, we found out recently that Shinken Pink has a lack of the leg and arms. Somehow, Bandai must have messed up or something, because for Shinken Pink, if you push her arm or leg too hard, they will break really fast. And actually, it has been confirmed by a lot of people that have gotten them as exclusive that it does happen. So you have to be careful with what you have. And since she wasn't a really big release, so it's pretty hard.
Made it even more harder to get because she was a limited set only.
And so you'll be paying about $100 just for her. And while the other Figuarts, blue, green, yellow, and pink will cost you about maybe the $80 range. So that's the only bad part about the Shinkenger Figuarts. If you really like Shinkenger, you'll be spending about $600 on all Figuarts combined. That's about the estimate right now.
But at least finally a company finally released the SH Figuarts, something from Japan to show that at least there's collectors out there who do want this in America.
Now the price tag is that online, Toys R Us, Shinken Red will be $34.99 and so will gold. But in person, I bought gold and red for $40.99 each. I mean, to me, it's actually a good investment, but only bad part is that
if you bought it online, imported, it would cost around $50+.
Also, in Japan, the first wave of Shinken Red and Gold had the Kuro figurine in it. Now, and that was only for the first wave only. Just like how in Gokaiger now, Red and Blue just got released, they have the Gokaidarians on them.